Welcome, everybody, to I'll Be Right Back, the show where we talk about a horror movie. And it's no better way, Peter, to celebrate Black Friday than by talking about this absolute bargain bin of a movie.
It absolutely is a bargain bin movie. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I didn't like this really at all. I think we've done a movie that both of us had seen, a movie that I'd seen that you hadn't, a movie that you'd seen that I haven't. This is one neither of us had seen. And I don't know if that's a good idea going forward.
But it was certainly interesting. So, I mean, first things first, it took me an age to find this. And I don't know if I was just searching the wrong terms or whatever. Listen, this has got some redeeming features. I think some of the dialogue is quite witty. It's quite funny at points. I
had a few chuckles throughout. Yeah,
I liked a couple of the characters. Bruce Campbell plays Bruce Campbell as he plays in every movie he's ever in, and he's just superb. Bruce Campbell is just a god. Everything else in this movie is dog shit. It was almost like a student uni movie for a kind of
I got
film
that vibe
project.
too. Yeah, it's interesting. So a little bit of background about it. There's not that much to find really. This is kind of an obscure movie. It was directed by Casey Tebow, so he primarily worked on music videos and concert films, so mostly Aerosmith stuff. It's produced by Bruce Campbell as well, so he was one of the spearheads of this. Yeah, it's just not very good. I think there's a lot of good stuff in it, and I think it has a lot of really great ideas. I think the core concept is excellent.
It's not new, but is it? Meteors crash.
And also, like, why not just go for kind of zombies? Like, why do the alien thing at all? Which I thought was kind of strange. But I like the idea of these employees are trapped on Black Friday. It's a good reason why there's people all together, I think, but it just doesn't really commit to a lot of the ideas. One thing that really frustrated me is that they're in a toy store. That never really comes into play throughout the movie. There's never a point where they kind of use slingshots or frisbees or things like that to kind of fight against the enemies. It feels very barren. Like there's never really more than 2 or 3 of the kind of zombie infected on the screen at any one time.
The main guy wears a pair of roller boots for absolutely no reason at one point. I guess that's
that was pointless.
Toys. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But we talked a while ago about watching Friday the 13th, and I remember being a little bit critical, saying the start of the movie was really hammy and cheesy, and me and my wife looked at each other and thought, Jesus, what am I watching? I got exactly the same with this. There's this kind of opening scene where the guy's hanging a banner and he drops it, and then 2 other guards come in, and it was just awful. And I thought, oh god. The other problem I've got with this is it's billed as a horror. It's an 18. This isn't 18. I cannot work out why, but it's billed as
swearing,
a horror.
Man. The people have potty mouths in this movie.
The danger here is people kind of wrestling a little bit. There's not a lot else horror-wise other than them kind of grappling and then weird kind of white stringy stuff coming out.
On the kind of design of the monsters, I think there's some really great practical stuff there. I think the design looks cool. I like how it evolves over time. Like they start off as just kind of slightly infected, kind of gross, covered in boils, and that evolves to like almost these, maybe this is on purpose, like with Thanksgiving being next to, but like turkey almost looking, like they have beaks nearly, like, and I thought that was quite cool. It never really feels like the characters are treating the situation that they're in with any degree of realism.
There are large parts of this where you have kind of like a set piece of an alien creature attacking them, and then they sit down for 10-15 minutes and have a chat, and then they decide to get up again, get attacked, and then sit back down for another. It's just I found it very odd. It felt very disjointed to me. It was weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pacing is very strange as well. Like it feels like it's rushing to the end, and there's not really any major memorable set pieces throughout it. It's just kind of, like you said, minor scuffles throughout. And also there was like some moments where it implies that the store is full of infected, but then they come out and there's nobody there. It's like, oh, we have to let them in. It's like, well, I thought they were there already, and kind of there's weird, I feel like, disconnects like that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk special effects. Some of them, the practical effects were great, and then you get this weird bulbous pink glowing thing, and then the end with the giant beak monster on fire coming out the roof is just
we get a kaiju.
atrocious. It's like Power Rangers level shit.
That is actually a practical effect. That's a suit, so they've kind of composited a suit. Like this, I think the suit looks good. It's just like the compositing of making it look big. It just looks kind of strange. And then the framing of that, they're like just hiding behind cars in the car park, and nothing's really happening. It's just strange. And also, it's like it's in a building on fire. Why isn't that affecting it in any way? That was an odd one as well.
I'm racking my brains trying to think of any memorable deaths. I'm struggling, really.
Well, we'll go through the characters and we can kind of
have forgot
talk about that. So obviously Bruce Campbell, I think, a highlight of the movie, as he is a highlight of anything he's in, really.
And he's hilarious in this, mate. He's kind of his one-liners and his quips back and things like that are very funny. Very Bruce Campbell.
He went into this movie specifically, I don't want to be just Ash. They've kind of played up the cowardice of it. That was quite fun. I like that he's just a corporate shill. But then he just says baby like a lot. So it's just like, oh, is that just something Bruce Campbell? Like maybe that's in his personality. You know? And like part of me was almost thinking this could have been like S-Marsh and you did an Evil Dead movie where Ash has been the manager for years or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I did like his line about when they were all talking, again, completely randomly in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. They're talking about how long they'd worked at the store. And he kind of says he enjoys his job because he gets to boss people around.
To tell people what to do.
People have got to listen to him.
And they can't say no, Peter. They can't say no.
I did chuckle at that.
You are a psychopath.
Yeah.
I actually do quite like that scene because I think at least character-wise it's giving us something. A lot of the cast of this, I feel like, and I almost kind of like this idea that they're like pulled out of a sitcom. Like they feel like a cast that would be in like a Community or Superstore type show. Devon Sawa, who's the kind of lead character, he's very kind of Jeff Winger in Community style. You know, he shows up drunk. He's like the cool guy. He has a very kind of Jeff and Britta relationship with the lead girl. You have the bitchy floor manager, Brian.
I wish he died a bit more dramatically, but I mean, that was a weird kind of flick.
He got the shittest death, 100%. He just got flicked. Yeah, I think he, if anyone was going to be just horrendously pulled apart, it should have been him. Yeah,
he got a good flick instead.
Yeah. But then, like I feel like a lot of characters, they act out of character very suddenly. So, like, he almost does a brave thing at the end, in spite of the fact that we had just had it revealed that he had, like, backstabbed everybody by, like, biting
bit the other guy, didn't he?
Yeah. Same with Bruce Campbell, where, like, a minute ago, he was like, you were at the back, fatty. They're going to get you first. All of a sudden, a minute later, he decides, I'm going to be doing the heroic sacrifice, which I don't think really helped in any way as well. So it's kind of pointless. I almost thought he was going to, like, crawl out of the fiery wreckage of the store. I was kind of surprised there wasn't a post-credit scene to kind of imply he survived.
The other guy who was a wasted death.
This is Michael Jai White's character.
I really liked him, and I recognise him off something. I can't remember what he's been in. Spawn, that's what it was.
Spawn. He's in the Mortal Kombat. He's Jax in some of the like Mortal Kombat
I knew
stuff.
I recognised him from something. But he has this great kind of arc where he's badass and he's killing people and stuff like that.
I loved him. One of my favourite characters in it, yeah.
But then it was so bizarre. So he gets the weird spermy web stuff on his arm, and it kind of stops, and he stares, and he's like, you go on. And it's like, well, it's just literally on your hand, mate. Chill out. And then it spits on his head, and I was absolutely expecting that point to have his head ripped off or something, and I thought, oh, that would be a great effect, and he just kind of did, and he's gone.
I don't know, maybe the effects budget kind of run out here, that they couldn't do those super gory heads getting pulled off kind of deaths. I feel like he died too early as well. I think he was one of the stronger characters. He delivered some of the best action. Like, Michael Jai White is a martial artist in real life. The closest to an exciting action sequence in this movie is when he kind of goes ham. To kill him like a third into the movie, I think, was a bit of a mistake. So Chris is like the nerdy kind of germaphobe secondary protagonist, I guess, of the movie. What did you make of him?
He got right in me tits.
I didn't like him either.
Yeah, whiny little shit. Honestly, I kind of wanted him to die early on, to be perfect. I thought it would have been a funny gag if they'd left him tied to the chair with all of this going on around them.
I agree. Yeah, you know? I like that. As it was going, I thought that was what they were going to do, and I would have. Yeah, I thought that would have been funny. I think he's a little shit. He's walking out the door to work on Thanksgiving, which, yeah, fair enough, that sucks. But then he's like, maybe I wouldn't have to if you didn't charge me rent. I'm like, fuck you, man. Pay your way, man. In this world, that's not how America works. You know, I pay rent to my parents, so you fucking have to too. Exactly. Yeah. Little bastard.
I did think they were going to make more of his germaphobe thing. I thought that was going to be linked somehow in the end.
I suppose it is with the jumping on the trash bags to escape. He doesn't actually do it. He just gets forced off by the vibration off of the big egg thing.
The big egg thing. The big.
That's what it is. The big egg thing.
Yeah.
The cotton candy glob.
Cack. Overall, for me, the saving grace of this movie, as with every movie he's in, is Bruce Campbell. He just eats the scenes up. He's funny. He doesn't look like he ages either. I mean, he looks like Bruce Campbell's looked for a long time.
He stopped at 55, I feel, and he's just kind of coasted from there, you know.
Because, I mean, he's in a tremendous series, I don't know if you've seen it, James, called Burn Notice.
It's kind of spy kind of thing.
Spy, yeah. And he looks just the same as he does in that, you know. He saves the movie for me. Would I go back and recommend or watch this again? Absolutely not. It really does feel like back in my day, James, probably before you were born, you would go to the video shop and you would get like your top tier videos, your new releases were like £2, and then there was like 5 videos for 20 pence because they were low budget shit. That's where this firmly sits, in low budget kind of student made. I'm rambling, but look, they've got some decent stars in this.
Bruce Campbell, Devon Sawa, you might recognize from, he's the main character in Final Destination. He's in the Chucky TV show, which he's excellent in as well. So yeah, he's kind of a fairly well known in the horror.
They've obviously blown the budget on some decent names, and then James, I don't know. Are we being overcritical of this? There is some good dialogue. I did feel a little for some of the characters, I guess. It's a turd rolled in glitter, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's a great. Oh god, I love it. Can't polish a turd, Peter.
Yeah,
that's
but you can't roll it in glitter, yeah.
A little bit of trivia about the movie, Peter. The radio says the counties of Columbus, Carpenter, Lynch, and Wright have been evacuated. This is a nod to 4 directors: Chris Columbus, John Carpenter, Joe Lynch, and Edgar Wright. That served as inspiration. I don't see any inspiration.
I bet they're devastated to be referenced.
Edgar Wright in particular, like I'm like, where is that kind of style in this? I don't see that at all, really. Maybe in the characters, I guess. The TV in the employees' room briefly plays Curse of Chucky. This is a nod to Devon Sawa's role in the Chucky TV show. So I thought that was fun. My favorite Chucky movie, so I thought that was cool to see.
I spotted the movie playing, but I didn't make the link.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions on set, the film was limited to 5 extras at a single time, so that explains why it's so barren. Like a Black Friday sequence, and you only ever really see 3 people fighting over a thing at once. And I had the kind of similar issue with Friday the 13th, where everything felt very staged. Like that all felt like, okay, you two look like you're fumbling over this teddy. It doesn't feel real. And we've seen just an amazing Black Friday sequence just lately with Thanksgiving.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We're just off the back of a great sequence, aren't we? So we know how well it could look. So this just paled in comparison.
And lastly, for the holiday music in the toy store, in order to find a less expensive alternative to paying for actual Christmas music, director Tebow performed royalty-free Christmas songs on a keyboard using Apple's GarageBand.
That makes perfect sense, because before we came on air, I was thinking, we normally kind of talk about the soundtrack and stuff. I couldn't remember a bloody thing of this. It was completely inconsequential to us. I don't remember any music at all, to be honest.
There's a lot of Christmas music kind of playing in the thing, and I enjoyed that. I was watching, I was like, I've never heard this one before. That kind of explains why, but the music didn't stand out to me as being bad in any way.
But it didn't stand out, that's my point. There was nothing memorable for me in it, you know?
Any final thoughts on Black Friday?
Yeah, dog shit. No, I just I wanted to love it because it's Bruce Campbell. It's just not a good movie. It's not a long movie either. It's only an hour 20 or something like that. It reminded us like of an extended episode of The Outer Limits from back in the kind of the 60s or 70s, low budget with a bit more swearing in it.
Interesting you said that, because it gave me the vibes of, like, you know, when some Nickelodeon shows have like a horror episode or a horror, like Keenan and Kel, the Keenan and Kel movie where they're like against the Headless Horseman. It had that kind of vibe to it for me. Very strange, but I think there's some stuff to like in this. I think obviously a lot of the people involved in this were very passionate about making it, and some circumstances are outside their control. If there was restrictions at the time they were filming, that's not their fault. Maybe delay the movie then, if it's going to negatively impact this much. But like, Bruce Campbell's great. I think there's some fun characters in it, some fun performances. I love that everybody just gives it sucks on the acting side, like that old granny who's just like, fuck you, and the employee of the month girl being super bitchy. I thought they were really fun. There is good stuff in this movie, but overall, it's not.
It's no Willy's Wonderland, is it? Let's be honest.
I would like, at the end of every one of these now, how we score these is it better than Willy's Wonderland? And I think this is better than Willy's Wonderland, to be honest.
Come on. I mean, that's a Nick Cage versus, the chin you've got going on there.
I mean, the chin wins every time, man.
Yeah.
Hail to the chin, baby. And that's I'll be right back on Black Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the channel where we do One Good Scare live every second Friday. And we'll be right back next time with...
You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent night. Deadly night.
Never, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.